Well, this is John Black, Super Chemist. We're here on part 6, I think, of ANACYCLOSIS. I want to review a little bit, and then we'll continue on with the presidents. We'll go over every president. You know, we left off at, I think, at 27 or 28th president. We'll start there, and we'll continue all the way up to Obama with every president showing you their bloodline, okay? But I want you to understand, right? We're only going on this one site. If we went on all 20 sites, you know, all the genealogy sites, this is what you would see, okay? All these R's or MRs mean that they are royals. Here's the vice presidents, presidents, and over here would be the first ladies, right? And this is an incomplete list, okay? Presidents are all royals, every one of them. They're all cousins. They all share the same grandparents, not just one grandparent, okay? But look at here's the rest of the list here. Right? You can see they are all royals, man. All royals. Now I want you to look before Obama, okay? Before Obama, you got what? Clinton was a puppet, but his wife was a royal. Who else? Ronald Reagan, he wasn't royal, but his wife was royal. And he got shot in the head. JFK was not royal, but his girlfriend was, Marilyn Monroe, and he got shot in the head. The last one before that, McKinley, he was not royal, and he got poisoned and died. and each time these people got shot in the head or killed, coincidentally, a royal with the same bloodline was vice president. So they easily moved right into position. And I want you to notice that what I'm showing you is that they all have this same, they're grandfathers, they're not cousins, these are grandfathers. Edward I, Henry III, all these Magna Carta signers are the same Magna Carta signers, and then these 5. Charlemagne, Alfred the Great, King Robert I, William the Conqueror, King Louis VI. They all have these grandfathers. That's like 20 grandfathers that all of our presidents, all our vice presidents, all our secretary of states. So far now, okay, and I want you to think about it. When we first started the country, there was only 13 governors, 13 states. That means there was 26 senators. The government was small. The ministries, they only had 3 ministries. Treasury, War, and State, Secretary of State. So there was only 3 of them. State, Treasury, and War. That was the whole executive branch. There was only 3 ministries. And there was only 5 people on the Supreme Court at the time, something like that. Literally, you could have 50 people have the entire government taken over by 50 people easily. But they all have this same thing. So in part 3, what? I showed you like 10, something like that. Freaking first governors that all have this same exact bloodline, right? To these 20 people, 20 grandfathers they share. Then I went to Massachusetts, and I went 1, Governor 2, Governor 5, Governor 10, Governor 11, Governor 20, Governor 25, you know, all the way up to Governor 72. Just one after the other. There must have been like 15, 20 governors I showed you, all of them. All from Massachusetts with the same royal bloodline, showing that it isn't just happening at the beginning, you know what I mean? I showed you the first 4 presidents, the first 4 vice presidents, the first Treasury, Secretary's Treasury, the first Secretary of State, which was Thomas Jefferson, you know. All these first peoples, all these first governors, like the entire... I showed you that, right, in part 3. Last part 5, I showed you, like I said, all the presidents, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 9th, 12th, 14th, 18th, and then I just went in straight. I wasn't skipping any after that. I went 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And when I get done talking here, I'm going to go back into it, and we're going to go through 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I'm not going to skip anybody. They all have the same royal bloodline. Really, man? Really? So I'm going to do both of his wives, not one of his wives, both of his wives. Here's the first one. Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 kings. How about his other wife, Edith? Let's see here. What do we got here? King Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 kings. Okay. How about the 29th president? We're just going in a row to every freaking one of them, man. A couple Magna Carta signers, but 1, 2, 3, 4 of the kings. He's not Louis VI. He is a cousin. How about the 30th? We did the 29th. Let's do the 30th president. Oh, this guy's definitely real. Edward I, Henry III, a bunch of Magna Carta signers, and of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the kings. Let's go to the very next president here, the 31st president, Herbert Hoover. Edward I, Henry III, a bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 kings. Here we got Herbert Hoover's wife, Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 kings. That was the 31st. Let's go to the 32nd. 32nd president. Edward I, Henry III, a bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 kings. FDR, Franklin Roosevelt's wife, Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 kings. Okay, now that was number 31, right? I think it was. No, that was 32. We already did 31. 32. How about 33? We'll do his wife. Edward, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 kings. How about the wife of the next president, right? We did the 32nd, 33rd. How about the 34th president's wife? Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the main kings, 7 kings. How about the 35th president's girlfriend, Marilyn Monroe? Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Carta signers, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 kings. Now, Lyndon B. Johnson's the next president, right? And he's involved with JFK's assassination. I'm going to do a video on who shot JFK and Reagan in the head. Who shot them in the head? And Lyndon B. Johnson, I need to prove that he is a royal. So here's the proof. We go to this place here, Free Pages, rootsweb.com. It's a genealogy site. You can see plainly his name, Lyndon B. Johnson. He goes up to John of Galt, right? This one here, it takes him up. You can see Lyndon B. Johnson. It goes up to Edward I. So if he has a direct descendant to King Edward I, we look up King Edward I. See if he has any, because look, he has a direct descendants. They go to William the Conqueror. That's one of the 7 kings, right? Oh, King Roberts, that's 2 of the kings. Alfred the Great, that's 3 of the kings. And notice all the presidents are on this list, you know what I mean? Here's Charlemagne, that's 4. So if Lyndon B. Johnson has a direct bloodline to King Edward I, and King Edward I has a direct bloodline to these 4 kings, that means that Lyndon B. Johnson also has that same direct line, bloodline to all those 4 kings. See, even if you go on all these genealogy sites, it still won't tell you the whole truth, okay? What you need to do is you need to find the nodes. And by a node, I mean a person that, like you can see on Lyndon B. Johnson, right? He had 2 nodes, King Edward I, right? And also John of Gaunt. And I want you to look at this thingy right here. See, John of Gaunt, or whatever it is, Gaunt, and King Edward I, they're both nodes. Meaning, if you have a direct line, right, a bloodline to John of Gaunt, I know that you automatically have a direct line to Louis VI, Robert I, Charlemagne, and then you can go up this way, right, or this way, and come up here, and you would be a direct descendant to William I and Alfred the Great. So you're automatically, I don't have to, once I know that you're a direct line to John of Gaunt, I already know you are directly descended from these 5 kings, 5 of the 7 kings. Edward I, I know for a fact, if you get to there, you can come up here and you would bypass Louis VI, but you would hit these 2 kings and these 2 kings. So you would hit 4 of the 7 kings. That's all. So once you find these nodes down here, right, because a lot of these presidents and that, they'll go up to the node and then they stop and then they act like they're not royal. But I know they're royal because I know some of the nodes. You know what I mean? So if you made it to that node, I don't need to look into it anymore, like Lyndon B. Johnson. I know he is descended to 5 kings directly because he is a descendant of John of Gaunt directly. So I know it. You know what I mean? That's why I say you got to know the nodes to find out the whole. Even if you go to all the genealogy sites and write down what they say, do their little tree branches and their little family tree things, you still won't know what I know, which is that they are all royals. Okay? But once you start finding the nodes, like Lyndon B. Johnson, I found that node. I already found a node called John of Gaunt, and the first node I found was Samuel Hinckley. The second node I found was Edward I. So I know that he is a royal. Okay. Anyway, here's the 37th president, Richard Nixon. You can see we got a couple of the Magna Carta signers, but the main thing is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 7 crowns. These 38th. We just did the 37th, 38th right here. Gerald Ford. What's going on here? Okay. There's your Magna Carta signers, Henry III. And also, I don't know why they don't have... okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 7 crowns. And you saw the Magna Carta signers. That was the 38th president. Let's go to 39th president. Jimmy Carter, King Edward I, Henry III, bunch of Magna Cartas. Remember, these are all grandfathers. They all share all these grandfathers, like 20 grandfathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 crowns. Okay, so that was the 39th president. The 40th president was Ronald Reagan. Let's do his wife, Nancy Reagan. Let's see what she's like. Okay, so there's the 2. Edward I. Oh, she doesn't have Edward I. Okay, well, she still has 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 crowns. So that was the 40th First Lady. The next one would be George H.W. Bush. Okay, there he is, George Bush. Let's see what he has. Edward I, Henry III, all those Magna Carta signers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 crowns again. Well, let's see what his wife, what about his wife? Barbara Bush. Let's see. Let's see here. You got Henry III.